If you're after a prime lens with a fairly standard field of view that can also turn its hand to full 1.0x magnification macro shooting for extreme close-ups, this Nikon should fit the bill. In today's video, we are going to introduce about Nikon AF-S Micro 6mm f/2.8 GED. The Nikon AF-S Micro 6mm f/2.8 GED is a pretty versatile lens, whereas most full-frame compatible macro lenses have a focal length of around 9105 mm, making them useful as short telephoto lenses. This one has a more standard viewing angle that can often come in handy. It also works well for portraiture on a DX, APS-C format camera, on which it has an effective focal length of 9 mm. Key features: designed for full-frame cameras, this lens is equivalent to the effective focal length of the Nikon AF-S DX Micro 4mm on DX bodies. It therefore works well as a fairly standard prime as well as a 1.0x macro optic. Due to the longer actual focal length than in the DX lens, the shortest focus distance is greater, at 90 km instead of 16 km. However, the FX lens is physically longer as well, and while it has an internal focusing system, the working distance from the front of the lens to the subject in full macro photography is only 1.5 km longer than with the DX 4mm, at 5 km, or 2 inches. That's fine if you like getting in really close to what you're shooting. But most of us prefer a bit more elbow room. Compared with the DX 4mm macro lens, the optical path is more sophisticated and includes 2 spherical elements and 1 ED, extra low dispersion element. It also has nanocrystal coat in addition to the more basic super integrated coating. Performance: unlike the more popular Nikon AF-S Micro 105mm f/2.8 GIF DVR, this lens has no image stabilization. That can be an issue for general shooting but makes little difference for macro work, where optical VR is no real substitute for a tripod. Levels of sharpness are very impressive. There's only very minimal color fringing and, to all intents and purposes, it's a distortion-free lens, so overall image quality is excellent. Overview: if you're after a prime lens with a fairly standard field of view that can also turn its hand to full 1.0x magnification macro shooting for extreme close-ups, this Nikon should fit the bill. On full-frame cameras, it gives a 39.7-degree viewing angle which works well for general shooting, although the aperture rating isn't faster than an f/2.8 standard zoom. For macro shooting, the working distance between the front of the lens and the subject is a little too close for comfort, at just a couple of inches. If your intent is for serious macro, I'd strongly suggest a 105 micro Nikon instead to give enough room between your camera and the subject. My favorite is my old 105mm AF, not the newer 105 VR. You should get a 105mm today if macro is your thing. If you try to go cheap with the 6mm, you'll be buying a 105mm in the future, which winds up costing even more than starting with a 105mm. Bug and critter photographers use the 200 micro lens to stand farther away from tiny subjects. If you still want a 6mm macro lens, I'd get the older AFD version while you still can because it has less distortion, offers an inch more working distance at 1.1 and autofocus is more consistently on the D3 and D300 than this new AF-S lens. The older AFD costs $100, $200 less than this AF-S. We're wrapping up for today. Hope this video adds extra information to your gadget knowledge. Thanks for watching.